The Nelspruit Magistrates Court has been evacuated during former Mpumalanga MEC Mandla Msibi's bail hearing. For more on Mpumalanga politics after Msibi's dismissal, I'm joined now by Mr. Gakwi Mashego, a political analyst and author who's based in Mpumalanga. Dr. Mashego, thank you very much for your time today. Talk to us about some of the key issues that are plaguing Mpumalanga politics, especially in the run-up to the local government elections.
Well, I think some of the key issues plaguing Mpumalanga are the issues of manipulated list candidates, where communities were requested to submit names of potential councillors. But around August, there was that outcry from communities to say that the lists have been manipulated, that names that they've submitted were no longer there, people have been inserted in those lists. So that is one of the issues. But also, subsequent to that, there is an issue of a provincial executive committee that has not yet been able to be elected at the conference. Because you must remember, since Deputy President Mabuza left the province as chairperson to go and become Deputy President of the ANC nationally, the province was supposed to have held a conference whereby they should have elected new leadership since 2017, and now it's 2021, and leadership has not been appointed. So the current leadership is perceived by others not to really be representative or to be carrying the mandate of the branches of members of the ANC in the province. So that is why at the end of the day, you see the issue of candidates on list who are not really assumed to be chosen by the communities, but the leadership of the ANC or the factions within the ANC that wants to use the appointment, the election of these councillors to different councillors to actually use in the fight going forward when it comes to conferences, to say, if I am heading a faction and I was able to get you into council, now going forward into elective conference of the province, then I know that I actually got somebody who's going to work for me, a workhorse that I can actually stand to go around. So those are the two problems: lack of leadership, of elected leadership, and also the issue of manipulated candidate lists.
Talking about leadership, we are seeing some supporters of the now axed MEC Mandla Msibi outside court supporting, calling for his reinstatement, calling for his release. What impact is his hearing and the charges against him, as well as his dismissal from the leadership role as MEC of Agriculture, what impact is that likely to have on the dynamics internally for the ANC?
Well, I think it has the potential, the potential that it actually has, it can actually create is that of a following, not really a leadership, not really a community, a following within the ANC that is split. Because we must understand Mpumalanga politics to be like a reflection of a microcosm of what's happening national, whereby people who are in positions of power, they can be able to use those positions to prop up their own supporters. So the fact that we are seeing people marching, going to the magistrate court in Bombela to protest and to demand the reinstatement of former MEC Msibi, it should actually warrant the ANC to say what has been warned about the cult of the personality has encroached so much in the politics of the province to the point that the ANC in the province is going to be incapable of actually uniting. Let us also be reminded that for the local elections that are going to be held in a few weeks' time, Mr. Msibi was heading the ANC election machinery in the province. So his dismissal in a normal situation was supposed to have reckoned the ship so much. But because the ANC is so fractionalized, it doesn't do much. There are people who are contesting to be councillors, who are contesting under the pen of the ANC, but who will tell you that they don't actually regard Msibi as heading the campaign that they are actually campaigning under. So the ANC one is benefiting from the fact that it's fictional, because the firing of the former MEC, the arrest of the former MEC, and the charges themselves are not going to take the ANC further. Unlike if the ANC was united and the ANC PEC carried the presidential mandate, that would have been an issue, because that would have created the vacuum. So for now, what's going to happen is factions are going to either dig their heels or they're going to be weakened, but we should expect to see people emerging, trying to occupy the space, because occupying the space that has been moved from means being able to get a position in the PEC that needs to be elected before the ANC elective conference next year, because Mpumalanga cannot go with a leadership that doesn't carry the mandate of the branches.
What is your forecast for the upcoming local government election results?
the focus for the local government election, I don't think it's going to change much in regard to the fortunes, in regard to fortunes for the ANC. And I'll tell you why. Look, the ANC has been quite clever in the past couple of months, the ANC National, to say, if communities choose an individual, they are going, if communities choose an individual who is not an ANC, the ANC is going to be prepared to work with that individual, which is something that is not feasible. The ANC cannot work with somebody who is not an ANC member, who's an independent candidate. But going around communities now, what I hear more as being said is an issue of people now know who they are voting for, not as an ANC person, but as a brother, as a cousin, as a friend, somebody they grew up with. So most of the votes will go to these individuals that I know this person was born in 1982, was born in 1993, and I'm voting for them because I know where they come from, I know what their political orientation is. But sometimes those people happen to be ANC members. So I don't think the ANC needs to be quite comfortable to say people from Mpumalanga, after the local government election, they have voted unanimous for the ANC. People are tired of the ANC, but what people are not tired of is hoping. They're not tired of hoping. They're prepared to hope, to say, okay, I'm going to vote for Gakwi because I know Gakwi. But if Gakwi happens to be an ANC member, they're not really voting for the ANC, because if the ANC gave them another candidate, they were going still to go for Gakwi as an independent candidate. So what we're likely to see, we're going to see emergence of more independent candidates creeping into councils, but independent as in a way that they were rejected by the ANC through its manipulated these processes, but communities actually chose those people to represent you. So the ANC will still emerge, but we should also expect to see more and more independent candidates getting into councils, especially in those areas that have experienced service delivery protests in the province.
Gakwi Mashego, thank you very much for that roundup. That's Mpumalanga-based political analyst Gakwi Mashego.